Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry, Episode 4. In case you did not watch the previous video, yes, I am back on the Umineko grind, and we are jumping right back into the thick of it, here with whatever the hell is going on Rokkenjima this time around. And Kinzo, for the first time ever in any of these different renditions of the story, has decided to make an appearance. It's wild, and I think he's definitely under the influence on this fine evening, because he is just laughing and making fun of everybody, really putting everybody beneath him, as God intended. And he has also decided that nope, none of you guys are worth being the next head of the family, to being the successor. However, the idea of their children being possible candidates has now come up, and now he's going to interview them to see if any of them are worthy. Throwing out a prediction right off the bat, I do think because there's been a huge focus on Maria to, really, we've been, off track so many times in this episode, and Maria has been a focus as we've strayed away here from Rokkenjima. I do think maybe he's going to choose her. I personally would not. And I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, because he has kind of, talked bad about her before, I'm pretty sure. But who knows? There might be something that sticks out to him now. Hard to say. But yes, there is another matter to discuss. And it's probably Beatrice related.
そしてUshiromiya家最後の親族会議の本当の理由だ。お前たちに求めるのは議論でも意見でもない。我が儀式に協力を求めるためだ。儀式？
静かに。お父様がお話をなさっている最中よ。
He might be talking in tongue, but he must speak. Rudolph and the rest had automatically narrowed their brows at the occult-like word. Could he be planning to start some strange ceremony involving Beatrice's resurrection again? And he wanted their assistance. What in the world was he planning to do? In the past, he carried out many eccentricities. Eccentricities? I am just throwing myself for a loop there, that he called by the name, such as starting to burn a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with the stench. I might be back at it here with the Umineko grind, but my pronunciation of words, they're not going to be all that great. Nothing's changed. To the siblings, the ceremony was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies. So as is tradition,
私たちに協力できることなら何でもご協力します。ねえ、ローザ。
ええ、でも一体何を？
私が碑文に刻んだ通りの儀式だ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせ、黄金鏡の扉を開く儀式である。肉体の檻を逃れ、私の指の隙間を嘲笑うようにすり抜けるあの魔女を屈服させる私の最大の秘術だ。そのために13人もの命を生贄に捧げねばならぬがな。
It's wild. We're just jumping right to the idea of it, Instead of, trying to piece things together that, oh, this is probably, following the stupid-ass epitaph. No, he's going to completely describe it here. He'll spell it out.
これだけの大人数が六軒島に集まった。この儀式が行えるのは今日を置いて他にないのだ。
Taken literally, it sounded like he was telling them to become human sacrifices for his dark ceremony and die. Well, yeah, that is actually what he's trying to say. Ridiculous. Was it some kind of metaphor? But they didn't even have a clue as to what he was trying to illustrate. The siblings whispered together about what Kinzo was saying.
親父は何を言ってるんだ。いつもの悪い病気か。
だろうな。しばらく黙って聞いてやる。
I like how nobody is
ご
buying
めん
it.
なさいお父様。どういう意味でおっしゃられているのか分かりかねます。
何が分かりかねるというのか。私は至極単純に話している。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式のためにこの島にいる人間から13人を選び生贄に捧げようと言っている。何の価値もないお前たちも我が儀式の生贄としてなら大いに役に立てるというわけだ。聞け、これは冗談でも何でもない。我が人生の最後に欲する最後の賭け、最後の儀式である。この島には今13人を超える人間がいる。つまりこの膨大な数の生贄を容易に満たせるだけの頭数が存在するというわけだ。お前たちは我が儀式の生贄となれ。
金蔵さん、あんたまさかあの話は本気だったのかね。冗談ではなく。
Unusually for him, Nanjo's face changed color as he stood up and shouted. It seemed this wasn't the first time Nanjo had heard all of this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
すまんな我が友よ。あれは冗談でも何でもない。我が生涯を賭して最後に挑む儀式でありゲームなのだよ。そう、これはゲームだ。お前たちにとって我が財産を得て島を出ることがゴールならば、それを達する方法は2つしかない。13人の生贄から逃れ見事生き残り、今更ながら非分の謎を解いて儀式を止めてみせるか、私を殺しこの儀式を止めてみせるか。この2つしかない。
Okay, but somebody actually did go ahead and solve the riddle of the epitaph. Two people actually did in the previous episode, that being Ava and Rosa. And yet it completely continued on, as if nothing had changed. By now, everyone wasn't just whispering, but chattering and muttering away. Even the siblings had noticed that Kinzo was beginning to act abnormally. You know, beyond his normal abnormal.
少しお疲れなのでは、源氏さん。お父さんは少し酒を。
Oh, 100%.
いいえ。
Oh, no, he's been drinking.
親方様はご明晰であらせられます。悪いけど親父、何を言い出すのかさっぱりだぜ。親父が愛する魔女を蘇らせるためにどんな怪しげな儀式を追っ始めてもそりゃ自由だぜ。親父の趣味なんだからな。だがそいつに巻き込まれて生贄にされるのはまっぴらごめんだぜ。
ルドルフ、お父様の話に口を挟む気？
何言ってんだ姉貴。こんな物騒な話にはいそうですかでうなずけるわけねえだろ。
Yeah, he's not trying to kiss up here. Was the ceremony Kinzo had mentioned literally something disturbing? Or was it some kind of test to choose the successor? It seemed that Rudolph had taken it literally, but Ava apparently still believed that it was something like a test or examination to find a proper successor. But Kinzo responded with a clear smile.
さて、私からの話は以上だ。異議も意見も何にも必要はない。4人の不出来なる息子たちがいたという私の夢が覚めるだけの話なのだ。お前たちにとってこれより目の前で起こることはまさに夢、幻、あるいはこの世のものと思えぬ理解に及ばぬ世界だろう。しかしそれこそが我が現実。お前たちという出来の悪き浅い夢は今こそようやく覚めるのだ。さあ、もうゲームは始まっているぞ。これだけいては誰から命を奪えばいいものやら。さらばだ、出来の悪き息子たちよ。 そして生涯でただ一度、そして最後に私の儀式のために役に立て。いでよ、ペンドラゴンの記念兵たちよ。
Pendragon's what now? Oh shit. Uh-oh. We're jumping into the weird stuff already. When Kinzo raised his arms high like an opera singer and yelled as though towards a packed audience. Yeah, what's happening here? The air shattered like glass, and the outlines of 3 people who supposedly hadn't been invited to this island appeared. Oh, man. No, I'm very much aware that that spells out 45. I mean, at least it's giving us the proper pronunciation of which I will forget after this video. So we have 45 and 410. Okay, this one's new. This one is new. 3 girls with strange forms suddenly appeared behind Kinzo. Where from? When? Who were they? The humans were thrown off balance and their minds went blank. Because they spent all that time thinking they lost their last chance to survive.
お前たちには6人の射殺を許可する。標的は自由だ。攻撃開始。
自由射撃了解であります。良き標的に感謝。かっこ自由射撃開始。にひ一番乗りだね。シャッハ。
When 410 scratched the air with her finger, a golden bow appeared in empty space, and she pulled its string. Well, who's gonna die first? My money is on Ava. The golden arrow that had been readied there was fired off without any hesitation, flew around the room, leaving haphazard gold curves everywhere, and chose Natsuhi, okay, I was wrong, from among those sitting at the table of the family conference, pulverizing the left half of her face. It's killing time. Flesh and deep red blood scattered around, leaving massive red spatter marks on the relatives' faces and pure white tablecloth. Not the fucking tablecloth. Silence fell. Despite the massive number of deep red spots left on the tablecloth, no one could understand why Natsuhi's head was half smashed, nor why she was hanging her head as though dozing while still sitting. And they watched on in silence. Those sitting on Natsuhi's right-hand side were silent for a relatively long time, but those sitting to her left were not, because the people sitting on that side had been shown how her head had been smashed open like a watermelon or a pomegranate, and could even see inside her.
まずは一人、夏日か。最後まで運のない女だ。
Damn.
次。
00射撃。
Alright, who's next? My money is on Ava still. Honestly, my money is on Ava to, you know, be a sacrifice here in the first go-around. After scratching the empty air in the same way and readying her bow, 00 fired as well. Alright, who's it gonna be? After it flew around and around at high speeds like the golden arrow 410 had released, drawing a convoluted curve in the same manner, it smashed half of Rudolph's head, aw man, in the same way as he looked at Natsuhi in shock, killing him instantly. This time, everyone managed to avoid freezing up mentally. They realized that a fearsome murder had started playing out right in front of them, just as Kinzo had said. And they realized that Kinzo would probably kill even more. Understandable reactions. Shrill screams burst out. Even so, they didn't know what to do, so they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide-open mouths like goldfish. As Ava asked Kinzo that in total shock, Hideyoshi, who had come to his senses faster than anyone else, had risen to his feet, pulled at her arm from behind. Goodbye, Hideyoshi. However, merciless fate's choice for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Just like the two before him, half of Hideyoshi's head was nearly smashed, and the right side of his head, which had happened to be facing that direction at the time, had been blown away with its contents exposed like a watermelon or a pomegranate. So, still holding Eva, Hideyoshi slumped backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Eva fell over backwards with him. That's horrifying. That is terrible. Eva screamed. It was only natural. The face that she had been looking for had been half lost, and the crushed skull, the mashed brains, and the crushed jaw all lay bare.
45着弾命中。
見事だ。続けて撃て。残りは3人であるぞ。お父さん、これは何の真似です。
When Kraus stood up forcefully and was about to rush Kinzo, Double O blocked him. With her slender-looking body, she held back Kraus with just the palm of her right hand. He still tried to resist and attack Kinzo, so Double O lifted Kraus by the nape of the neck and twisted into his Adam's apple with her thumb. It seemed to be very painful, and Kraus was overcome with agony. Yeah, good luck. Nanjo's sharp words finally dissolved the spell that had been holding them down in their chairs. Fear is a crazy thing. When Goda and Kumasawa each tried to escape from the dining hall first, 410 moved in an instant and appeared there, blocking the way. Even though Goda didn't understand, he crouched when he heard Kirie's sharp voice. Then a burst of air rushed above his head. Kirie had taken a big swing with a chair to mow 410 down. But 410, still with a mocking expression, easily caught that widely swung chair with a single hand. I think she actually held her own back in the previous episode too. Nope, I don't think anybody died yet. From the cuff of her arm where she had caught the chair, something like a shining golden snake appeared, wrapped itself around the chair and burst open. It was a fearsome power, like a vice. When Kirie realized that the being in front of her, which looked like a girl, was actually something that surpassed human knowledge, and that a human could not even begin to oppose, her head was filled with a fierce alarm bell that welled up from deep inside her. Genji, Shannon, and Kanon, all of the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle, continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, even with a scene like this before their eyes, making them look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kirie thought that they had managed to stay calm because they were the enemy, and had been given a guarantee that they wouldn't be killed. However, but as soon as she thought that, the side of Genji's face was blown away before her eyes. Damn.
45着弾命。
ほほう、源氏め。これは運が悪い。安らかに眠れ、我が友よ。そなたの死は無駄にはならぬぞ。我が愛しき魔女復活の重要なる13の鍵の一つとなるのだから。
Man, this guy's like on a whole different level of crazy in this one. The half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. He tilted, fell over, and scent of blood-red splatter out across the floor.
源氏様。
僕たちなんて所詮は魔女の駒なんだ。所詮
from the meek and frustrated, no, resigned expressions on Shannon and Kanon's faces, one couldn't sense any naive hopes that they'd be rescued. That's right, Kinzo was, in the truest sense, carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed.
さて、次は誰を狙うかに。
410 looked at Kirie for a second. In that second, Kirie was prepared for her own death. But when she readied her golden bow in midair, 410 was looking at someone else over Kirie's shoulder. So as imprudent as it was, Kirie felt as though she had been saved. Hey, it's not over till it's over. Again, an ugly, exploding, popping sound rang throughout the room. Who was it this time? When Kirie turned to face the direction of the sound, she saw blood gushing like a fountain and Ava lying on her husband's chest. All right, where's my money? Where is it? Of course, her face had been half smashed, just like her husband's. 410 had mercilessly targeted Ava as she clung to her husband's corpse, sobbing.
兄さんを離して、兄さんを離しなさい。もうやめてお父様。こんな残酷なことはもうやめて。
逃げろ、ローズ。
Rose's objection didn't reach Kinzo as he continued to laugh loudly in the blood-splattered dining hall, and she wasn't able to lessen Krause's pain at being lifted up by the nape of the neck by 00. So Rosa had no choice but to use force. She lifted up a chair beside her and gave a warning.
お父様、兄さんを離すように命令して。もうこんなことをやめさせて。
できぬな。それを望むならば、お前の自らの力で阻止するがよい。自らの運命は自らの手で切り開け。常に誰かの背に隠れ、怯えてきたお前に宿る人生最後の国旗を見せてみよう。
お父様。
All right. The chair that Rosa had lifted up swung down at the father who had reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-control in Rosa's life. What Kinzo had said might have been true. If she had grasped that courage much sooner, her life might have become more free, unrestrained by anyone else. Then there was a bursting sound. The sound of Rosa's chair fiercely hitting Kinzo could not have been this. With the chair still lifted up, she neatly lost half of her head and slumped over. Still holding Krause up with one hand, 00 had stuck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden snake released from that arm had constricted Rosa in a helix and had smashed it into her head.
防衛射撃、資金弾の無礼をお詫びするであります。
構わぬ。これで6人であるか。
はい、ゴールドスミス卿、これで6人であります。
When she indifferently communicated that, 00 let go of Krause, whom she had been lifting up this whole time. I'm sure he feels relief right now.
第一の番の生贄はエヴァにルドルフにローザ、夏日、秀吉、そして源氏であるか。
Damn, we're being left with a pretty interesting cast of characters. All the servants except for, what's his name? See, I'm already forgetting still. Only one servant died and then 5 family members. 3 siblings did, so they're all out of this, but Krause is living on. He actually gets to live on for the first time ever, I think. It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall had been dirtied by blood splatter, and the 6 unlucky victims lay with their heads brutally exposed. In a way that was fitting for that abnormal space, Kinzo's abnormal laugh alone echoed out.
いよいよに幕を開けたぞ。ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式の始まりだ。運よく第一の番を逃れた者たちに我が友人たちを紹介しようではないか。いでよ、我が友よ、ロノエ。
Oh shit. When Kinzo called Renove's name, the demon butler showed himself in midair, bowing respectfully.
皆様方、はじめまして。そして、ご無沙汰の皆様におかれましてはごきげんよう。これはまた派手に散らかされましたようで。
よいわ。我が白昼夢のごとき日々を覚ますにはこの程度の刺激が必要だ。紹介しよう。我が友人であり頼れる執事であり72柱の大悪魔であるロノウエだ。
以後お見知りおきを。
Just who was he making that introduction to? Kraus and Kirie, who were still down on their backsides, and Nanjo, Goda, and Kumasawa could only look up at this middle-aged gentleman they didn't know in shock. Only Shanun and Kanun seemed to recognize him, and they bowed deeply. Okay, there he is. Okay, Genji. How could I forget? Yeah, Genji would have also been bowing.
せめて苦痛なく役目を終えられたなら良いのですが。
東部直撃弾にて即死でした。苦痛を味わう暇もありません。
そうですか。結構です。
続けて友を紹介しよう。いでよ、我が友ワルギリア。
Okay. So this is the original Beatrice, if we all recall. Virgilia came from Kumasawa in the previous episode. So this is kind of interesting. Once again, a silhouette of someone the relatives didn't know appeared from empty space. She appeared in a refined dress while making an elegant greeting.
召喚を感謝します、親方様。許されるならば、このような血生臭き場に呼び出されたくはありませんでしたが。
こやつも紹介しよう。我が友であり、頼れる相談役でもあるワルギリアだ。偉大なる有限の魔女であるお前の力を我が儀式に借りたい。その力を貸せ。
お断りしようにも、あなたの強力な召喚霊族下にある身ではそれも叶いません。御意に、親方様。
それにしても恐ろしいお方だ。シエスタの姉妹兵を3人も召喚し、私に加えさらにワルギリア様までも召喚せしめるとは。
Yeah, we've sort of been introduced to the idea of how much of a toll it takes on a regular person to be summoning, you know, all these magical individuals, but yeah, this is quite a bit.
召喚という能力においてのみとはいえ、お嬢様をもはるかに上回るとは恐ろしい。後宮の地に戦慄を覚えます。
ベアトリーチェ復活の儀式を執り行うために私は召喚師としての全てを尽くすだろう。まだ足りぬな。この度の儀式の完璧なる遂行のためにさらに召喚しよう。ペンドラゴンの記念兵にロの上にワルギリア。まだ呼べるぞ。我が魔力ならまだまだ呼べる。
Okay, but are you actually going to call any others?
我が召喚に応えよ。72柱が一人。ガープよ。
Okay, looks like we are.
ガープをあれまでも権限できるというのですか？
さらにこの島の侵食が進んだということでしょう。私たちが権限できているほどです。今さらどんな大悪魔が呼び出せたとしても驚くには値しますまい。
もはやロッケン島は完全に異世界に飲み込まれているということですか？彼が屈服しないと良いのですが。
前回たっぷり入れ知恵をなされたでしょう。この程度では今さら屈服しますまい。おそらくですがね。さて、
私たちはこの舞台を楽しもうではありませんか。今回の主人公はどうやら親方様のようだ。お嬢様とは一味違った脚本に期待しましょう。
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised at the direction this is going. Kinzo has sort of outed himself as the, this is a funny looking magic circle here. Kinzo has kind of outed himself as the antagonist in this one, where in the beginning it was supposedly Beatrice, but also a mix of the unknown. The second one was Beatrice. She was there. She was an additional individual there. The third one was Ava Beatrice, and that was annoying. Here it just seems to be Kinzo, which is a very interesting move. When Kinzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light gathered in the empty air, twisted, and a magic circle was drawn there with a deep red glow. Whoa! Wowzers! Woo! Okay, alrighty. Hello, madam. Hi. Wow, I don't even know what to say, boys and girls. I feel all giddy all of a sudden. And with a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there.
よくぞ我が呼びかけに応えた。72柱の大悪魔が一つ、ガープよ。
すごいところに呼び出されたものね。
Oh, her voice. Oh my god, it tickles my ears so good. Guys, I think I found the one. I'm done searching for the woman of Umineko When They Cry. This is it. This is it right here. Guys, I'm done. No more looking. It's not going to be any of the seven sisters. You know? It's going to be her. It's going to be this magical being of my dreams.
この血まみれの部屋を掃除するために私は呼び出されたのかしら？ゴールドスミス。
The literally devilish woman, wrapped in a venomous, ominous costume, looked at the scene, which should have made her cover her eyes and twisted her mouth in a grin.
そのためだけにあなたを呼び出すとしたら、カシミヤのマフラーで雑巾掛けをするようなものですよ。
お久しぶりですね、ガープ。あなたのような大悪魔がとうとうこの島に現れてしまうなんて。いよいよこの島も幻想に沈むのでしょうか。
部屋の惨状よりもこの豪華キャストの方が驚くべきね。シエスタ姉妹が3人もいて、大悪魔ロの上に大魔女ワルギリアに私まで。これは何事？ここはパンデモニウム？地獄の演奏会でも始めるつもりかしら。なるほど。そこで指揮棒が震えるのはあなたぐらいしか思いつかないわ。
そなたにはベアトリーチェを蘇らせる我が儀式遂行のための進行役として協力してもらう。我が召喚契約に依存はないな。
依存も何も。天下の大魔女ベアトリーチェを刺激した伝説の大召喚師。こう協力はするわよ。もちろん見合ったお題もいただくけどね。で最初の仕事は
第一の番を免れた間抜けどもを捕らえよ。幸いにもここにはまだ7人いるではないか。南條にシャノンにカノン、ゴーダに熊沢、キリエにクラウス。ほう、この7人をまるまる生贄に捧げればちょうど13人だ。
Oh, how lucky.
第2の番以降を実行するタイミングが訪れるまで生贄の檻に放り込んでおくがよかろう。
カシミヤの雑巾がけね。了解したわ。
Damn. All right. As Gap shrugged her shoulders, she looked at Kraus, who was still down on his butt. She glared. Then, when she snapped her fingers, Kraus was swallowed up by the floor, as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath him.
いっちょ上がり。
There was no hole in the floor, but it certainly looked as though Kraus had been swallowed up by a hole and disappeared. Searching for her next prey, Gap's gaze crossed Kirie's. She snapped her fingers. Kirie jumped back as though repelled. Her instincts had been right. After all, in the place where she had just been until a second ago, a round jet black hole had appeared, the same kind that had swallowed up Kraus. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Even Kirie had no way of eluding Gap's capture. Goodbye, Nanjo. Okay, that was kind of funny. When she snapped her fingers again, a shocked Nanjo was swallowed up by the floor and disappeared. When she did it again, 410 let out a short yell and jumped back. This time, a slightly larger pitfall had opened, swallowing both Shannon and Kanon, who had been standing in a line by the door. But because 410 had jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware that he would be next, Goda dashed out through the door. Of course, Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. I mean, they're not getting away. There's no way. As Gap snapped her fingers over and over, round jet black pitfalls opened, one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive the recklessly fleeing pair away and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds.
鈍ったわ。二人逃がした。
ご安心を。逃走目標を捕捉中であります。
データリンクよし。にひ、狙撃しますか？
いいえ、それは許可できませんよ。貴重な生贄です。親方様の許可を待つように。
大ゴールドスミス卿、指示を待ちます。
第二の晩の訪れにはまだ早いと。我が魔力の源泉がささやいておるわ。今はならぬ。好きにさせてやれ。どうせこの島からは逃げられぬわ。
親方様の魔力の源泉とはすなわちノイズとリスクと運試し。つまりは気まぐれというわけですか？
そうとも言うかもしれぬ。ガープ、極儀式はこのまま着実に進めよう。さて、それはそれとして、次は我が孫たちだ。次期当主たる資格があるかどうかを試す。はてさて、どうやってその資質を確かめたものか。
It's interesting. This rendition of the story seems to have some pretty stable structure. Like, the majority of the next sacrifices have already been captured, so the next Twilights will pretty much go off without any issues, supposedly, but, you know, there's bound to be something coming up. 2 did escape, but it's only a matter of time, and then the children, they're all over at the guest house. So... And also, for the potential for them to, you know, become the successor and maybe stop this whole, you know, ordeal is also, you know, a huge potential. There's a lot of different ways that things can go here.
その資格があると判断されたなら、ベアとの復活を断念されるおつもりで？
無論だ。にもかかわらず試す。女の身にはわからぬであろうな。
The thing is, if Maria is chosen, she will allow the this whole, you know, this whole sacrificial Twilight bullshit to continue. I don't know what words I was looking for there, but things will continue as they are. More people will die.
相変わらず男ってどこか変ね。
Yes, ma'am.
リスクを遊ぶという概念。
おやおや、あなたはそういうのが大好きかと思っておりましたが。
もちろんよ、男に。危険なリスクと一緒に恋をささやかれたらキュンキュンしちゃうわ。ただしイケメンに限る。
お静かに。死後は慎むように。
実にかしましい奴らだ。
Yes, sir, but that's okay.
だが少なくとも退屈はせぬ。これだから召喚は愉快なのだ。そなたらには我が儀式のノイズとリスクの天秤の片側を担ってもらうぞ。その働きに期待している。
6 brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that until just a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons, and their subordinates loudly declared the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land. And I believe him.
待たせたな。
Hello.
これにて第一の番。いよいよ開幕。
Yeah, I did take a bit in this go around.
金蔵め、相変わらず派手を好む男よ。
It is crazy. You know, until a bit ago, we thought that, oh, he's probably dead. But no, he's the mastermind of this whole sacrificial night of fun and giggles.
付きまとわれればしつこいことこの上なき男も、舞台の上ではこれほどまでに映えるというのか。
くそ、相変わらず黒い殺し方ばかりしやがって。頭部半壊だ。てめえら魔女ども悪魔どもの悪趣味には相変わらずうんざりさせられるぜ。
頭部半壊。なるほど。これまでのゲームで一番理想的な殺し方がこれだと気づいたわけね。
Yeah, I think in episode 1 their faces were all fucked up. I don't remember how it was in episode 2 except for their bodies being sliced open and filled with candy. In episode 3, I don't know. That's when all the servants died, right?
理想的？このひでえ殺し方がどう理想的だってんだ。
実に理想的じゃない。
Oh, hello.
一番最初のゲームを思い出してみるといい。
お前はさっき登場しやがった新しい悪魔とかいうやつか。くそ、また魔女の侵食が進んでろくでもないやつが増えたというわけなのか。
The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokkenjima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. This island has been closed off by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more the corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now, there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. If the corrosion advances any further, and even more weird people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary I can't imagine, but I do want to see it. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase their numbers anymore.
そうはいかんぞ。まだまだ増やすぞ。
That is a valid point, though. The stories that keep on getting told here, they get wilder every time. Further into the idea that the island is being invaded by magical beings that should not exist. Because we can't prove otherwise.
クローズドサークルなる間抜けなルール。よく来たな。ガープよ。
お久しぶりね、リーチェ。
What kind of name is that?
お元気だった？というか随分元気そうじゃない。あなた若返った？私が知ってる頃より2、300歳は若々しいわ。ああ、なるほど。
The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced his gap, took a glance at me, and then grinned as though she'd figured something out on her own. That smile felt openly obscene.
ベアとの友人らしいな。ってことは輪をかけてろくでもねえやつってわけだ。しかしクローズドサークルがなんとかって言ってやがったが、どういう意味だ。
今の六軒島のような外界から断絶された場所で起こる連続殺人ミステリーはクローズドサークルとも呼ばれるわ。外界からの断絶、つまりは閉じられた輪の世界というわけ。
No interference from the outside, though. Everything's happening on the inside.
故に登場人物と容疑者は限定されるのが一般的にもかかわらず、新しい容疑者候補が次々に輪の外から追加されていくのはミステリーの作法に反する。つまり人間とミステリーに対する 魔女の冒涜ってつもりなんでしょうよ。
あなたがグレーテル？なるほど。賢い子みたいね。そういう子は好きよ。舌が甘くてとろけるから。
Whoa, 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 whoa.
気色悪い。冗談は服だけにしておいて。
デビリッシュプリティの最新作、ジャック・ザ・リッパー・クリスマス・ブラッド。人間界の田舎娘には理解できないセンスでごめんね。
I mean, I like it.
通気性がいいのだけは理解できたわ。
Totally for not any indecent reasons, though, of course, as you guys all know.
脳みその通気性も良くなるかもね。
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感でな。しかし今年の流行りも実に大胆だ。わらわも一度ぜひ取り寄せてみるとしよう。
リーチにはアリグレがおすすめね。アリス&ザ・グレーブヤード。今度一緒に666にお洋服見に行きましょうよ。たまには魔界にもいらっしゃいな。
このゲームを終えたらぜひそうしようぞ。
What do they have, like a fucking magic mall too?
それにしてもリーチの対戦相手のお二人はなかなか可愛いわ。
Why is that how you're describing them?
頭部半壊死体にどういう意味があるか察しがつきそうね。わかる？お嬢ちゃん。
さっきこいつは一番最初のゲームを思い出せと言ったな。どういう意味だ？
言葉通りの意味を。一番最初のゲームの第一の番を思い出して、大人たちの死体が魔法陣の描かれた園芸倉庫の中で発見された時のことよ。覚えてる？
You know, that actually kind of puts Kinzo up as a suspect. Or does it? Episode 1. The first Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kirie, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died.
あの時、あそこには2種類の死体があったわ。それは顔面を粉砕された死体と側面を粉砕された死体の2種類。
そうだ。顔面粉砕はルドルフ、キリエ、ローズ、ゴーダの4人。側頭部粉砕はクラウス、シャノンの2人だ。
Okay.
わらわもあの時点では気まぐれに生み出した2種類の死体であったが、より残忍な死体である前者の方がわらわにとってむしろ不利であることに気づいたのだ。
ベアトにとって不利？そうか、そういうことか。
I haven't caught on yet. That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon-chan had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But Dad and the other 3 were different, because his face had been completely destroyed. Even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like. I mean, excuse me, can't any of them be found out based on, like, you know, their stature, their appearance? In short, it remained vague until the end whether that really had been Dad's corpse. I guess it brings up in the air...
もしも推理バトルが行われてたなら
It brings up in the air the question, are these actually really them? Which I think I did ask quite a bit in the first episode.
俺は多分親父たちの死体を本人確認不能のため偽装死体の可能性もあると主張していたかもしれない。何しろあのゲームの時にはベアとは一切赤での発言もしていない。
お上手よ。それ偽装死はミステリーの基本の一つ。たとえ医者に検証させたとしても犯人とグルを疑われればその結果は信用できない。つまり確実な死を保証できない死体は常に魔女サイドを不利にするということ。
あらゆる死体について偽装死を疑い、その後の事件の犯人に想定することができる。バトラの嫌う手だけど魔女に対する最も初歩的な一手ね。
ああ、そうだ。だからベアとは赤を使い出した。赤き真実で完璧な検証を行うようになったんだ。
That's a valid point.
そういうことだ。本来ならばこの第一の番の惨劇に対しわらわはすぐにでも赤き真実にて この度の6人の死亡を確定させるところである。しかし知っての通り、今回のわらわの戦法はこれまでとは正反対。そなたが反撃の拠り所にしようとする以上、わらわは容易には赤を使わぬ。必要最低限の赤にてたった一箇所だけほころびさせればいい。つまりわらわは究極的に言えば、そなたのあらゆる密室の推理についてあらゆる暴言を許せども、そのうちの一つをたった一回の若き真実にて打ち破るだけで良いわけだ。
散々俺をいたぶってきやがったくせに、俺が反撃に使い出したら今度は引っ込めやがったってわけだ。ふざけやがってよ。
とにかく赤を使いたくない。けっちりたい。
バトラをいじめてやりたい。
Oh, we all know.
しかし赤を使わずに確実なる死を保証するにはどうすればよいのか。わらわは悩みに悩んだわけだ。そのアイデアをガープがくれた。実に簡単な方法だったのだ。
What, just show them dying?
当たり前なことを言ったらリーチがひらめいただけよ。私は誰にでも容易に身元の判別と完全なる死が理解できる死体を用意すればいいと言っただけ。
Yeah. With their heads spilling out, 100% you'll be able to figure out who they are and that they are absolutely dead.
身元の判別に必要な顔と完全なる死の象徴である魂の器たる頭部の粉砕、この2つを左右ぴったりきれいに合体させたら、あら不思議。この頭部半壊死体がパーフェクトであるという答えが出たわけだ。
お前絶対2色パンとか2色アイスが好きだろ。欲張りな子供市民丸出しだぜ。
いずれにせよ、たとえ頭部が半壊していたとしても、現時点では彼らが死んだとみなすべきではないわ。
分かってる。ベアトがもったいぶって赤での宣言を拒む以上、全ては疑ってかかるべきだな。
Oh, 100%.
もちろんシエスタの太もも姉ちゃんたちの魔法殺人だって鵜呑みになんか絶対しねえぜ。
本当に慎重になったこと。最初のゲームの頃だったなら何でもかんでも鵜呑みにしてくれていたのにね。
Well, yeah.
公的種はこうでなくては面白くないというものよ。今は赤がないことを幸いに、自由な想像を広げ、好きに推理を重ねるがいい。一番最後に一番おいしいところでバッサリと赤き真実にて叩き切ってくれようぞ。
Bring it on. Now, I remember that she was very hesitant on utilizing the red. Ooh. Drip drop. What do we got going on here? Rosa. What the? The fuck? Silent. Black. Cold. Painful. Rosa regained consciousness, bit by bit. And the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she had been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. Ah, this is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor or in a study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but I stroked that hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. Yeah, how'd that go? I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light. But even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, There was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter-patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. Oh, you should be very afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she stared in the direction the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint, approaching silhouette came into view. Ah, fuck, god damn it. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? What's his name? Sakataro or some shit? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart.
Uryu.
Sakutaro, there we go. Oh shit. The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫？まだ痛い？
ありがとう、僕。ここはどこ？すごく寒いわ。
こっちへ来て、ここにいちゃいけない。
That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. Michael also has no idea what's going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with them, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal sensation. Oh, I know that feeling. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
ウリュウ、
Whoa, what's going on there?
大丈夫？
ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When the kids said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. And we know why. We know. So I said so frankly.
ごめんなさい。その、ウリュウという口癖をやめてもらえる？
ウリュウ。
ちょっと、やめてって言ってるでしょ。
ごめんなさい。
I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around this child, my head hurts.
大丈夫？早く行こう。ここは行っちゃダメ。
どうしてここにいちゃダメなの？ねえ、ここはどこ？
Good question.
あなたは誰？
It's the purple
あなたのマ
dimension.
マはどこ？
僕を作ってくれたのはママだ
Is
よ。
you. There it is. I knew it was coming. That child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと忘れちゃった？
Well, that seems like a good place to end off on, but first, let's go to the character logs. So everybody's actually still marked as alive here on the human side, which is pretty interesting. There is the Ange side, but I don't think that's what we're currently looking at. We want to go to the witch side. Maybe? God damn, this got packed. This got absolutely freaking packed. But we do have our new character here, Gap. One of the 72 great demons, she is also Beatrice's friend. grants the power of teleportation as the mage requests it. She uses this wonderful power only for pranks. Her favorite trick is hiding keys and bags on busy mornings. However, this power of hers is an ultimate weapon that risks delivering the lethal blow to a locked room mystery. Her queen bee-like strikes would probably penetrate all famous detectives and make them surrender. I think that's a very important final paragraph there, actually. Okay, so we know about 45 here, so I don't think we need to go through this again. And we know about 410 or 410. There's 00, though. A weapon of the Sisters' Cavalry, which serves Pendragon. 00 has the position of their calm and composed leader. However, that is merely the role that was sought of her. Her true self is far more of a weakling. 00 excels in reconnaissance and as a vanguard, and has enormous power to bring the enemy under control during encounters. However, her excessive power level has been criticized as inhumane, and it is not rare for her to be lynched and abused upon surrendering on the battlefield. Her one eye tells of this without words. Yeah, she does have the eye patch. And so all of these characters, including Virgilia, Renove, and I guess all of the 7 sisters are all underneath Goldsmith. Kinzo's name as a mage is Goldsmith, which I think we had already read through all of this. You guys will have to let me know if I'm missing anything here in terms of what I may have missed. I don't know if anything is different here for Virgilia. I mean, we pretty much know everything that there is to know about Virgilia at this point. And I think the same could be said for Renove, though I feel like there is more to know of these characters for sure. And I guess we'll just keep on the grind, you know? And keep on learning more about these characters on the magic side of shit. Oh boy. Things are getting wacky, wacky, wacky. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Thank you all for tuning in. I do hope you guys enjoyed. I did kind of mess with my audio settings for this one. Please, by all means, let me know how I sound in comparison to the previous video. And, you know, I'll just keep on tweaking it as we go here now that I'm back on my regular equipment. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys, and watching this one. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a big ol' like. And if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.